Now let's move on to an interesting fireside chat on fast-tracking land acquisition. Land acquisition is one of the most challenging aspects in developing an infrastructure project in India and has continuously been an area resulting in a severe delay in executing these projects. MSRDC has worked on record-breaking numbers with the Samruddhi Mahamarg. Today we have with us the man behind the plan, Dr. Chandrakant Pulkundwar, Joint Managing Director, MSRDC. He is going to be sharing his experience on challenges and solutions for land acquisition. Dr. Pulkundwar is a 2008 batch IAS officer and a core team member of the Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarg. The fireside chat will be moderated by Mr. Ashish Puntambekar, a business leader with over 20 years of international and domestic experience in growth strategy, operations improvement, risk management, cost reduction, and designing environmentally sustainable projects. I invite Dr. Pulkundwar and Mr. Puntambekar to the stage and request Mr. Puntambekar to take the session forward.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome Dr. Chandrakant Pulkundwar, Joint Managing Director of MSRDC for this event. And we would like to talk about land acquisition problems and the way and get his views on how these matters could be resolved with minimum loss of time and, preventing large cost overruns that are happening today. And I'd just like to give you some idea of the severity of the problem. See, the Gati Shakti that the Prime Minister has been wanting to promote and the National Infrastructure Pipeline, these projects have 100 lakh crores was the targeted amount that they wanted to invest. And already they have incurred a cost overrun of 4.46 lakh crores. The second thing is the government had a plan to raise 6 lakh crores till 2025 to fund these projects. So you can understand most of that money is already gone in cost overruns. And they've been able to, 18,000 crores they've been able to raise from Air India. It took 20 years to do that. And I'm just saying this because, I've been called a project designer, but the kind of stuff I do, in fact, I'm the, just before the election, I had sent Meenakshi Lekhi a note saying that, you need to have this large construction, at that time it was called Construct India. And it was to create 30 million jobs. And Meenakshi Lekhi said she would include it in the manifesto. So then that's how that was how this whole thing of, the National Infrastructure Pipeline and now Gati Shakti has started. This happened in 2019 and I've shared it on my LinkedIn recently. People can see that. So I just wanted to, it's very necessary to have a structure in place that prevents cost overruns. And that's why land acquisition, which is one of the most serious problems that, because of which, you got interest costs piling up and stuff like that. That is why it is so important to address these issues. And I'd like to get Dr. Pulkundwar's, inputs on this. So, what are the various challenges that MSRDC has had to face in land acquisition, especially in the context of the Mahasamruddhi Mahamarg and the other projects that you people are doing?
No, as we all are aware, first of all, good morning to all. And I would like to put on record, there are few partners of MSRDC who were representing the earlier sessions, like L&T, TPF, Dilip Bilcon. They are all working with us for so many years. So, as we all know, the basic problem in all infrastructure projects starts with the land acquisition, delays in land acquisition. And it is being talked across the country that MSRDC has set a benchmark about land acquisition through this Samruddhi Expressway. Samruddhi Highway, which is coming up, which will be opened shortly. So there were many challenges to begin with Initially, people had apprehensions about the parting away with their land, about the compensation they are going to get, about the proper alignment, everything. So MSRDC had to talk to people up to the last man, up to the last person involved, up to the last person whose smallest piece of land is being acquired, will be acquired for the project. And MSRDC has evolved some innovative measures, some innovative steps we have taken. By taking those measures, we could alleviate the fears of the farmers. And once it began, then there was no looking back. It was finished within a year and a half. The entire land acquisition we could finish in a year and a half. 8,300 hectare land was aggregated for the project, and the entire land acquisition was completed. And I could participate in that process as a collector also. Earlier, I was posted as collector in Buldhana. So I could directly purchase 1,000 hectares of land within a span of 8 months. And thereafter, government thought me to be shifted here and to coordinate the land acquisition in other districts. So there were a lot of challenges, but we could successfully overcome those challenges by having some innovative steps.
Sir, what exactly did you do? Because you must have had to make the farmers partners in the project in some way. Something you must have done which, this is not possible without doing something like that.
Yeah, that is true. See, the entire land acquisition process started in 2017. Initially, during first half of the 2017, the preparatory work was done. Before that, more than a year, we were trying to convince the people. MSRDC was trying to have a dialogue with the people. Can you please display one slide I have given to you? Just one slide.
Yeah.
That's enough. So first thing MSRDC did was we appointed a media consultant, very good professional media company. They had a huge fleet of people with them who were quite conversant with the local situations in all the 10 districts which were being affected. And we trained those media persons first. We first convinced them what is the project that is coming up, how it is going to change the lives of the people from the distant areas of the Maharashtra, from the hinterlands of the Maharashtra. And then they were put on the job to convince the people. What sort of land acquisition method, what sort of compensation we are offering them, that was being told to the people by visiting each and every household who is going to part away with the land. So appointing a media consultant, good media agency, PR agency was the first step. And that media consultant in turn appointed communicators. We called them in Marathi Samvadak. So they were used to establish a bridge between MSRDC, the state government, and the farmers. Those communicators, mostly BSW, MSW boys were there. And for each village, minimum one communicator was appointed. So these communicators were first trained. What is the scheme? What we are going to offer? Thoroughly they were trained and then they were put on job to communicate with the farmers. Initially, MSRDC started with a land pooling scheme. We are not going to acquire land compulsorily, but we were planning to take all the stakeholders as partners in the development project. But somehow we could not convince the people. People are not ready. They were demanding a cash compensation. And then government of Maharashtra came up with a very innovative scheme of direct purchase of the land. Then Chief Minister announced 25% more compensation. That is 5 times. Generally, when you acquire land through LAR Act, LAR Act came into existence in 2013. So through LAR Act, generally the compensation is given us 4 times of the market value. Here, government of Maharashtra went one step further and announced 25% more. So people were offered 5 times of the market value. But still people were apprehensive. I was collector at that time, and first sale deed was executed in my district on 13th July 2017, and by end of Feb 2018, I could purchase 1,000 hectares. So that was the speed. Because people had very bad experience about the land acquisition process in the past. I'm in government since last 28 years. People have suffered a lot through land acquisition, old Land Acquisition Act, then through litigations, getting meager compensation. But here, after this 2013 Act came into force, it has changed the paradigm, and government of Maharashtra has taken very, very progressive step of giving additional compensation. So people were convinced that day where we executed first sale deed, the amount was deposited within fraction of seconds, and the farmer got the message, so much of crores have been deposited to your account, and it changed the whole scenario in the entire state. Then people started coming forward, just purchase our land, we are ready to give away land. So that's
But
the
the
thing.
most strategic thing you did was probably appoint the media consultant.
Yeah.
That was the strategic thing you did to get everybody on board pretty quickly. It was, in anything, if you do something strategic, it has an immediate
See,
impact, and it has.
292 villages where we have, 392 villages where from we have acquired land. So there were communicators for each and every villages. They were in place for 2.5 years. So they keep on communicating with the farmers. They keep on educating farmers, not only about the compensation they were going to get, but about how to reinvest that money. In Buldhana district, I can certainly tell that at least 60 to 70% farmers have repurchased agriculture land, at least. So they were trained to educate the farmers how to reinvest that amount. Otherwise, what happens, what we have seen since last 25 years, they get compensation, they purchase some vehicles, they purchase some good other things, and the entire money is gone, and then again they are on the road. But here, we could convince the farmers, we could educate the farmers to reinvest the money that they have received from MSRDC in the land itself, particularly in the landed property.
No, this is something, this is actually a social thing also that you people have done. Yes. Because, what we had usually told is the farmer gets the money, he spends it on drink and liquor and all that, and then it's wasteful expenditure. This is the first time I'm hearing that the government actually went ahead and, has helped them to reinvest the money intelligently and to grow their farming business that they have. I'll come to the second question. So this is about, people when they...
Few more innovations that were undertaken by MSRDC, they are still remain to be talked. So one more innovative thing MSRDC did was appointing a joint measurement consultant. So measuring the land is a huge task. Mr. Shrimali is here. He knows how difficult it is to get the lands measured. And when you are constructing such a huge corridor, 700-kilometer corridor and 10 districts, 392 villages, so getting lands measured is a humongous task. Because our land record people, survey department people they are already overburdened with their routine work. So there has to be some hand holding. So for doing the hand holding, we appointed very, very professional agency. Like TPF is one of our DPR and joint land acquisition consultant. So these land acquisition consultants, they had very good state-of-the-art machinery, very good trained manpower. The earlier session, it was discussed, the shortage of trained manpower. Yes. So they had very good trained manpower, latest machineries, and they did hand-holding with the land records people, that is survey peoples, survey department people, and we could complete the measurement very, very fast. Okay. So that was. Third, one more thing was getting revenue officers on deputation to MSRDC. MSRDC never had a revenue officer before this Samruddhi. There was only one post of additional collector rank officer in the headquarters, and there were no revenue officers elsewhere. So this time, we took revenue officers, deputy collector and additional collector for each district. See, the entire process of land acquisition, though may it be a direct purchase or through compulsory land acquisition, it is always done through collector and his subordinate officers. But still, we took some revenue officers, one each for all the districts. They were used for doing hand-holding. Practically, they were talking to each and every person from we were purchasing the land, we were acquiring the land. They were doing the hand-holding with all the collectors' subordinates, and we could complete the land acquisition very fast.
So the second thing is about, once the alignment is known, there's some people who, they come to know about it and they go and buy land in that area. How did you handle that kind of situation so that the farmers...
It is a human tendency. Everyone wants to extract maximum out of the upcoming projects.
Yes.
So there were few complaints in Samruddhi also, particularly in MMR region, particularly in Thane district. But rest of the district, we have not seen any such incidents where people went away and purchased the lands from the farmers. So there were no complaints. Only complaints we have seen, they were from Thane district. There were some high-level committees set up. Committees did inquire, but nothing came out of it. Because we were very scrupulous. We told all the revenue officers, all the district officers, even our deputy collector's team, that there should not be such incidences. So don't promote. Just tell them that government is very serious and there are going to be inquiries set up. Fortunately for us, in Samruddhi, we did not find such incidents.
About financial innovation in such projects, how do you, because I've been working on urban equity withdrawal as a concept. So the essential thing is where the project is being constructed, that the valuation goes up so you can withdraw some of that equity. We've tried this idea in the Mumbai Eastern waterfront, and the entire 35 to $40 billion required for the construction of the Indian Mumbai Eastern waterfront will be raised within the project area itself. So when you're building a road, the same thing applies because the land, the value of that land is going up. What are the various things that you have tried in Samruddhi or which you would like to suggest, which could be used elsewhere, where a lot of money that is required from the project can be raised from this appreciation of land that is happening in the project area?
See, MSRDC takes up only greenfield projects. Okay. So there is no chance of value appreciation along the expressway, along the highway being constructed. We are going through the barren lands.
Correct.
So such incidences have never been seen in MSRDC projects because it is all greenfield projects. But it may happen in brownfield projects. Like NHAI is handling all the brownfield projects. They are upgrading the existing highways and converting it to the expressways, or they are expanding the lanes. So in those projects, there can be issues like the enhancement of the prices of the lands across the highways. But see, the other point you were raising, what other measures you can take. We tried, as I already told, we tried the land pooling. Land pooling was an innovative step. We amended our act. We acquired the land through Maharashtra Highways Act, using the provisions of Maharashtra Highways Act. And we amended it before we started land acquisition. We amended it. We incorporated all the provisions, important provisions of LAR Act in our MH Act. And then we started. We incorporated one special chapter in the Maharashtra Highways Act for the land pooling. Land pooling was a very good innovative step, but somehow we were not able to convince the people. People were insisting for monetary compensation only. Land pooling scheme was so good, government issued a government orders also. So it envisaged pooling of the land, 30% developed land will be given back to them. And besides 30% land, see, CIDCO, as we all know, CIDCO has 22.5% land scheme. CIDCO gives back 22.5% land. Yeah. We were offering 30% developed land. We were offering annuity for 10 years, continuously for 10 years, 30,000, 45,000, 60,000 per acre, per annum for dry land, semi-irrigated and irrigated land with 10% increase every year. So this was a very good scheme, but somehow people were continuously demanding for monetary compensation. Somehow we could not take this ahead. But now we are using this land pooling scheme for developing new towns along the Samruddhi Expressway.
Okay. Then what are the any new technologies you've used to speed up land acquisition? What in that direction? What
Technologically, if you say, we hired these land acquisition consultants, so they had very good state-of-the-art machinery, trained manpower. Secondly, we used our I told you communicators to convince the people. But besides that, there was nothing much. One more thing we used was the satellite imagery. So that people, there are some incidences where people try to plant the trees, people try to construct new structures. So of a particular reference date, we used to use the satellite imageries from Maharashtra remote sensing or national remote sensing. So these were some technical aspects about the land acquisition.
So this Gati Shakti that the Prime Minister has just recently launched on the 13th, he plans to connect, they're going to connect 16 ministries and they're going to do all that, and they have some more than 200 levels of geospatial data that they want to connect not only in the central, at the central level, but with the states also. How will this probably work in the future, and what do you see for that?
Certainly it will boost infrastructure like anything, because I have seen for so many years being in government, the problem with government departments is they hardly talk to each other.
Yes.
So this will create a bridge, and when it is monitored right from the top, definitely all the departments will work in sync, and it will certainly reduce the time required for land acquisition, time required for various clearances. One important point I would like to highlight here is MSRDC is one organization which takes all the clearances beforehand, before starting the work of the project, like environment clearance, forest clearance, CRZ clearance, wildlife clearance, all the clearances we take beforehand before starting the project. So this will definitely speed up the clearances process, speed up the land acquisition process, speed up the various various issues related to various departments. Various NOCs are required from various departments.
Correct.
So this will definitely change the paradigm of the infrastructure infrastructure project.
You've got another slide. You have two slides actually.
Yeah. It's
is
not
the-
a slide, it's just a statistics.
Yes.
Can you display
Can
that?
you just display the second slide, please?
Can you zoom it?
Yeah. So this would need
See,
some
it is,
zooming.
you can see here. See, the total private land acquired, this is a bit old, 15 days old statement. 7,900 means almost 8,000 hectares land, private land. Then 650 hectare forest land, almost equal government land. And out of that, you can see here, 6,500 hectare land was purchased directly. So almost 82% land was directly purchased from the farmers. Remaining land was acquired through the land acquisition process as envisaged under Maharashtra Highways Act. And out of that also, out of 18% also, more than 8% land was acquired with consent. See, government of Maharashtra has taken many innovative steps for these projects, and that's why we could complete. See, this figure which shows the land acquired through MH Act, but with consent, there also government has gone ahead and offered 25% more. See, not only the direct purchase, but compensation given through land acquisition process with consent. Those farmers also were given 25% more, means 5 times compensation. So there also, see, there were some feudal things, there were some civil suits going on. So that's why they could not give consent for direct purchase. So later on, they resolved their differences, family differences, and they came forward when we were going ahead with the land acquisition process. And at that point also, when they came ahead with the consent for land acquisition, they were given 5 times. Means 92% land was acquired with consent only. 92% land.
Okay.
So remaining 8% people, they did not give consent. So we went ahead with the compulsory acquisition where they got 4 times, at par with the provisions of the LAR Act. There also, our board has taken one very progressive step, and now those people who have not given consent, we've gone ahead, we have given 4 times compensation, either directly to the farmers or it has been deposited in the court. So they have filed arbitration with the divisional commissioners. So here in Maharashtra Highways Act, divisional commissioner is an arbitrator. So now our board, MSRDC board, has taken a progressive step and offered 25% more compensation again if they give consent during arbitration also. So remaining 8% people who are fighting before the arbitrator, at least 50% of them will come forward. They are coming forward now and saying that we will give consent now, give us 25% more and we will resolve this. So the future litigation, see, there are thousands and thousands of litigation going on in civil courts about the enhanced compensation. We will avoid all those litigations and future enhanced payments also.
And I've just got one last question which we want a quick answer. This, see, some of the land is in forest areas. Okay, so many times the money is given to the forest department and they have asked to do it, and there are a lot of government procedural issues involved. Is it possible, just a yes or a no will do, that the contractor who is building it or the agency that is going to be building it, for instance in this case MSRDC, if it says that look, we will, if the government has a target of, let's say the forest department has a target of putting 500,000 trees, that we will plant 1.5 million trees, but to get it done fast, we can do it. And can it be allowed so that, it cuts down probably from a year or 2 years, it just comes down to a few months when this agreement happens, and can that be done? I mean, how would that need to change?
No, see, there are 2 things. When you are taking some forest land, so you have to get the forest clearance first. So forest diversion proposal is submitted to the forest department. It goes up to MOEF. There are various levels depending upon the type of project, area involved. So while doing the forest diversion, 2 things are to be given to the forest department. One is compensatory afforestation land. So equal land is to be given to the forest department, and that land has to be examined, inspected by the forest department, and suitable. Once they decide that this is suitable land to be converted into forest, they accept it for a compensatory afforestation land. And secondly, CAMPA fund, you have to give NPV also to the forest department. So the entire amount is paid to the CAMPA fund. Besides that, whatever trees you are going to cut while constructing the project, they ask you to plant that number of trees again. So in Samruddhi, we were supposed to plant some 650,000 trees. So we have planned for plantation of 30 lakh trees.
Oh. So that's something.
So that is a very big number. So 12 lakh big trees, 12 lakh plus big trees we have planned along the Samruddhi corridor. There is a 3-tier plantation being planned. We have already appointed a consultant who will look after these things for next 10 years. And there will be shrubs along the median, there will be creepers, there will be bamboo plantation, almost 3 lakh bamboo plantation we are going to do. So we will do on our own, there is no question. But as you referred, the trees, whatever land we are offering them for compensatory afforestation and whatever payments we have made, the forest department is supposed to plant trees on that land which is given by the project proponents.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inputs, and I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting us, and so thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.